It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Right over here, David, go ahead.
Hey, Dale, David Wisnett at Channel 3. Sorry to ask you this, but are you aware of any incident on your property this morning, and is there any comment you can make about it?
Yeah, I can't make any. I know, something happened with the group of gentlemen that mow our lawn and keep our yard up, but I do not know anything further than that. So, nothing I can say.
Thank you.
Other questions for Dale? Right here again, Jerry. Jerry's on a roll.
Final question. How do you capsulize all the years in just a few words? I mean, is there a way that you can describe this ride that you've had, and just, it's like turning a chapter, so to speak?
Fantastic. It's just been a huge thrill for me. I was just explaining a while ago, the years from, and I probably should back it up from 93 on, but I looked at, and basically 93 through 2004, 2005, those, that was a, 10 or 11 year span that it was just fantastic. I mean, you think about, you always hear people talk about loving to get up every day because they love to go to your job, and that's the way that I was. I was mad on Sunday nights, not because maybe we'd had a bad day, but because I had to wait 4 more days before I could get back in the race car. That's how good it was, and you wanted to do that every single day. When they said, do you want to go test somewhere? Yeah, let's go, I want to be in the race car. And I had great people, from, Todd Parrott and Robert and Doug Yates and their whole family and Ford Motor Company just gave me just a great opportunity there. And we made the most of it. And, I was very, very fortunate, and it was a blast.
Joe, you got a question?
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Dale, was there ever a time in like the late 80s or even early 90s before the first win at Michigan where you did not think this was going to happen? And now that your career has unfolded this way, can you believe that you ended up being as successful as you did?
Well,
I start.
Yeah, I can probably 2 things. It's not in my makeup to give up, so I never looked at it that way. I wasn't going to. I didn't know how much success I may have. If any, at that point in time, up until 91, didn't show, there was some promise there, but to say that, how successful was I going to be, how many wins might I get, would I ever contend for a championship, didn't have anything to base that on at that time. But I knew that the determination and drive that I had within me to succeed would help to carry me on, and as long as I could get others to believe in me as much, then I would have some success. But never thought that it would. I mean, I've exceeded the amount that I would have thought when I started this business that I could have. But again, that's because I was fortunate to surround myself with some really good people at a really good time in my life. So everything kind of came together. Even though it was in the latter stages of my career, it was perfect timing because I was at a point in time that I could handle all of that. So, but I probably won more races and obviously winning the championship. Those were dreams to do all of that, but they were lofty dreams too.
Question in the back, and then we'll go you and then Tom. Go ahead.
Hey, Dale, Jack Flowers here. Your dad retired at an early age, and he said a couple of times that he might have retired too soon. Did you ever talk to him or seek advice from him on retirement?
Yeah, we talked about that, and I think that there's a big difference. My dad was very goal-oriented. He set his goals to win 2 championships. He didn't realize that was going to happen in a span of about 5 years. And he didn't really know at that time. I mean, there wasn't anything really going on in 1965 or 66 that would tell you that, hey, I need to stick around for this because things are really going to get big. But so I think that he did what he thought was best for his family at that time. And I think that, we've talked, and the reason that myself and others could, maybe hang around here till we're 50 or 50 couple years old, because as difficult as the life is in traveling around and being gone, it's made a lot easier because of some of the amenities that we have, with the motorhomes and being able to travel, stay at the racetracks. You don't have all of that. You're right there. You don't have to fight all the traffic. And obviously the airplane's making it to where, you can stay at home longer and get back there sooner. And so, it gives you more of that family life that they missed out on a lot. And so I think that's one of the reasons that have been able to do that. And, the other side of it is, I worked really hard physically to make sure that I could continue to do this for a long time. So I think a combination of all of that is a reason. But, there on the flip side of that, and I'm not sitting here trying to forecast the future, but I would think that myself and Terry and Bill and Mark Martin, that won't be the norm coming up because these young guys are getting great opportunities when they're 20 and 21 years old. And, they're probably not going to look at staying in the Cup Series for 25 or 30 years. I think that their careers are going to be more of a span of 15 or 20 years, just looking at the future.
Go ahead.
Eric Saxon with Channel 9. Dale, putting nostalgia aside for just a second. It's been a little while since you were in a car. You remember where everything is? Are you fast? Are you ready to go?
I wasn't fast, that's for sure, but it took some getting used to again, And like I said, you've had that in off season, from the time that you finish up right before Thanksgiving till you maybe go back to Daytona or get started. So, there's usually a 5 or 6, 7 week period there. But these cars are so different, and they're changing these things. You want to say weekly, but it's almost twice a week that they find new things trying to make. They look crazy going down the straightaway. You wonder you want to sit in that thing that's dog tracking going down the straightaway. How are you going to get it through the corner if it doesn't look like it'll drive straight down the straightaway? So you had to get past that a little bit, and then just coming here and getting back to the feel of the car, because the things that they've done even since I was in the car give the car a totally different feel. And so I was. It took me a while to get the car to where I felt like that, because I didn't want to get to that edge too soon and him having to pull another car out of there. So it was a little more difficult than what I actually envisioned it being. But I think by tomorrow night I'll be okay.
Got a question here on the front row. If we can get Mike right here.
Dale, talking about the race tomorrow and the final 25 lap segment when you're going for $1 million, what's your mindset? Do you do anything different? Do you guys do anything different to the car for a short run versus a long run? How do you approach it?
Yeah, and that's some things that we discussed a while ago as to what we wanted to look at. Driving-wise, I'll just do whatever my car is going to allow me to do. I'm going to go as hard as it will allow me to go. That's going to be, the way that I've always approached this race, and I've done that every time in it. So, if that means when you get down to those last 25, you take a little bit more of a chance. You're not as accommodating to let somebody in, and you try to make a hole sometimes when it's not. So, if my car will allow me to do that, that's what I hope it will, and that's what I'll do. We've been trying to look at, this isn't, a lot of times you're here, and even though you're running the All-Star race, you're also getting prepared for next week's 600. So there's a lot of things that you want to do to find out about that, because it's your best test session. And I don't have that next week. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about what's going to let me go for 25 laps in each of those segments, and what can we do. So that's how we're preparing the car and looking at that and making it to where we can make some pretty big adjustments to the car after each one of the 25 lap segments.
Any other questions for Dale? All right, Dale, we really appreciate it. Congratulations on an outstanding career, and look forward to watching your race again tomorrow night.
I will say just one thing. Been a long time, and I appreciate the way that all of you have treated me very fairly. I can't say that you've always written good things, but that's not your job. Your job is just to write what you think and report. But you've been extremely fair to me, and I appreciate that, and it means a lot. So thank you. You do a lot of good things for the sport, and I really do appreciate it. It's been great.
Thank you, Dale.